What if your brain is wired to reject the truth? Some ideas weren't meant to be understood, only feared. Tonight we dive into concepts so strange they could unravel your reality. Ready to think thoughts you're not supposed to? The thought that thinks you. Have you ever paused to think about your own thoughts? It seems simple, right? A thought enters your mind and you attribute it to yourself. You believe it's yours because, well, it's inside your head. But what if that assumption is completely wrong? What if the thoughts that you believe to be your own are not actually generated by you at all, but by something or someone else? Imagine for a moment. You're sitting in silence. Your mind begins to wander, and you start thinking about something, a memory, a dream, a plan for the future. But what if that thought wasn't your own? What if it was planted there, slipping into your consciousness like a subtle whisper in the back of your mind? What if your entire sense of self, the very thing you call you, is actually the result of someone or something manipulating your thoughts, planting ideas in your head that you believe are entirely your own? Consider this. You are the product of your thoughts. They shape your identity, guide your actions, and color your perception of the world. But what if those thoughts are not a direct reflection of who you are? What if there is an external force, a hidden influence, that's been shaping your very sense of self without your knowledge? You see, the idea that we control our thoughts is a comforting illusion. Most of us take it for granted that we're the ones thinking our thoughts. But when we truly look deeper, we begin to see cracks in this assumption. How do you explain those random thoughts that pop up seemingly out of nowhere? Thoughts that don't quite align with who you think you are. What about those sudden urges or impulses, seemingly disconnected from your core beliefs, that prompt you to act in ways you don't understand? This phenomenon becomes even more unsettling when we realize that these external influences may not just be random. What if your thoughts are being subtly manipulated by something beyond your control, by forces you can't perceive? What if there are hidden layers to your mind that are being controlled by unseen entities, distant memories, or even ancient programming? Every thought, every action, every decision could be part of a larger pattern, carefully crafted to lead you down a path without you even realizing it. What if the very nature of your consciousness is not a free, independent experience, but rather a reflection of something far more sinister, something ancient, something that has been shaping and controlling human minds for centuries, maybe even millennia? Could our thoughts be the result of centuries-old conditioning, programming, or even forces that we cannot comprehend? What if the mind itself is a tool, a vessel, and not truly ours to control? This concept goes against everything we've ever been taught about free will and the mind. It turns the idea of consciousness upside down, forcing us to ask, if we aren't the ones thinking, then who is? Could there be an unseen force manipulating our minds like a puppeteer pulling at invisible strings, pushing us toward actions, beliefs, and decisions without our even knowing it? Every thought you have, no matter how trivial or profound, could be a part of a larger unseen network of influences, guiding you toward a fate you have no control over. And if this is true, then how much of your life, your choices, and your very identity are actually being shaped by something outside of your awareness? Think about it for a moment. If the thoughts you have aren't truly yours, then who or what is thinking them for you? Could it be an external force, a hidden power manipulating you from the shadows? What does this say about free will? If we aren't in control of our thoughts, are we truly in control of our actions? Or are we just puppets to a force we don't understand? These are uncomfortable questions that shake the foundation of everything we know about the mind, consciousness, and the idea of self. The next time you have a thought, pause for a moment and ask yourself, is this thought truly mine? And if it's not, whose thought is it, and why am I thinking it? The memory loop trap. Have you ever found yourself trapped in a cycle of memories, constantly replaying certain moments over and over, as if your mind can't escape them? Perhaps it's a painful memory, a regret, or even a fleeting moment of joy that you can't seem to forget. No matter how hard you try to move on, your mind keeps circling back, dragging you into the past again and again. This is what we call the memory loop trap. At first, it may seem harmless. Memories are a natural part of being human, right? They shape who we are, how we view the world, and how we react to different situations. But what happens when those memories begin to control us? What happens when your mind starts trapping you in an endless loop of recollection, where you're unable to break free from the past, no matter how much you try to live in the present? You see, memories are far more powerful than we realize. They're not just stored away in our minds like files on a computer. They're constantly active, influencing our thoughts, emotions, and decisions. Every time you recall a memory, you relive it. Your body reacts as if the event is happening all over again, triggering the same emotions and physical responses. The more you revisit these memories, the stronger their grip on you becomes. This is the essence of the memory loop trap. It's not just about remembering. It's about being consumed by those memories, allowing them to define your present and future. When you constantly replay certain events in your mind, you get caught in a cycle, one that you can't easily break. The more you focus on the past, the less you're able to fully experience the present. Your mind becomes a prisoner to its own recollections. In this endless loop, you may find yourself stuck in an emotional rut, unable to break free from negative thoughts and feelings. It's as if you're replaying the same movie in your mind over and over, each time with more intensity, until the boundaries between past and present blur, and you lose sight of who you are right now. It's like being trapped in a mental maze with no exit. But here's the real kicker. The more you try to fight it, the more you get pulled back into it. The more you try to forget, the stronger the pull of those memories becomes. It's as if the very act of trying to escape them strengthens their hold on your mind. You start to feel like you're stuck in an inescapable trap, your thoughts looping, your emotions cycling, and your sense of self being pulled in every direction. This phenomenon is deeply psychological, rooted in the way our brains process trauma, regret, and unresolved emotions. When we experience something significant, whether it's a moment of happiness or heartbreak, our brain stores those memories in a way that makes them almost impossible to let go of. This isn't just about nostalgia. It's about our inability to move past something that has emotionally anchored itself within us. And it doesn't stop there. The memory loop trap can distort your perception of reality. When you're constantly revisiting the past, you're not seeing the present clearly. You're clouded by the lens of your memories, and that can make it hard to trust yourself or your own feelings. You may start to believe that the way you felt in the past is the only way you can feel now, and that can prevent you from growing and moving forward. Breaking free from this trap is no easy task. It requires a conscious effort to let go of the past, to stop replaying those memories, and to shift your focus to the present moment. But the more you try to control it, the more it controls you. The trap becomes tighter, and you feel like you're spiraling into the same emotional loop. But what if there's a way to free yourself from the loop? What if, instead of trying to forget or ignore those memories, you could learn to see them for what they are? Just fragments of time, no longer controlling who you are now. What if you could reframe those memories and release their grip on your mind, allowing you to step into a new chapter of your life without being defined by the past? The key is awareness. Recognizing that you're trapped in the memory loop trap is the first step to breaking free. Once you can acknowledge the cycle, you can begin to take small steps toward freedom. You can choose to focus on the present, not as an escape from the past, but as a way to reclaim your power over your own mind. What do you think? Have you ever been trapped in a memory loop? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of the mind. The silence between realities. Imagine a space where nothing exists. No time, no sound, no thought. It's not a void, not emptiness, but something deeper and more profound. This is the silence between realities. When we talk about realities, we usually think of the world we live in, the one we can see, touch, and interact with. But have you ever wondered if there's more to existence than what we perceive? What if between every moment of our conscious experience lies a gap, a space that exists outside of our understanding? This space, where all of our realities converge and disconnect, is the silence between them. It quotes a concept that stretches our perception of what reality truly is. Picture the moments when you're on the brink of falling asleep, when you can feel yourself drifting into unconsciousness. In that twilight state, you're aware of the world around you, but not quite in it. You're aware of the space between sleep and wakefulness, where your mind floats freely, suspended in an in-between world. This liminal space is what we might call the silence between realities. What if the universe itself has such a space? A gap between the dimensions, a silent zone where all our potential realities, timelines, and versions of the universe coexist in a suspended state. It would be a place beyond our senses, beyond even our understanding of physics. A realm where the very concept of time and space becomes irrelevant, where nothing exists, yet everything is possible. In this silence, there's no sound, no movement, no observable phenomena. Yet, something is happening, something profound, beyond the reach of our limited consciousness. Think of it as the pause before the next note in a symphony, the stillness before a new idea takes form in the mind, or the breath before a deep existential question arises. Some theories suggest that this silence is where all possibilities reside, where alternate realities and parallel universes are born. They exist in a kind of dormant state, waiting for something, perhaps a decision, an event, or a shift in consciousness, to bring them to life. Just like the space between the seconds of a clock, or the gap between two thoughts. The silence between realities is the forgotten space where everything potential resides. This silence doesn't just represent a pause, it represents potential itself. The potential for worlds that have never existed, for lives that could have been, for paths not taken. It's the quiet before creation, the space where the next wave of existence is yet to be formed. Every reality, in its fullest expression, may have begun in this very silence, waiting for the spark that will give it life. Now, what if we could perceive this space? What if, beyond our current level of awareness, we could tune into the silence between realities and witness the birth of new universes, new timelines, or even alternate versions of ourselves? Could we consciously move between these realms, shaping our destinies? Could we make decisions that echo across dimensions, creating ripples in the silent void, pushing one reality forward while leaving another behind? The idea is mind-boggling, almost too much for our human minds to grasp. But there are those who believe that through deep meditation or advanced consciousness exploration, we might just be able to touch the edge of this silence. It's not about leaving our physical reality. It's about expanding our awareness to see and sense the quiet spaces between all that exists. It's in this silence that the true nature of existence might reveal itself, not as something solid or fixed, but as a fluid, ever-changing phenomenon. So, what does this mean for us? If we acknowledge the silence between realities, we might be able to tap into a deeper layer of consciousness, one that allows us to perceive the infinite possibilities within every moment. By quieting our minds and stepping into this space, we could transcend our current reality and explore the limitless potential of existence. The key is recognizing that the silence is not an absence, but a fertile ground for creation, growth, and evolution. The concept that cannot exist. Imagine for a moment that there's an idea so paradoxical, so deeply entangled in contradiction, that it can never truly exist in our minds or in the universe itself. It's the concept that breaks every rule of logic, yet calls into question everything we understand about existence. It's the concept that cannot exist. This isn't just a philosophical riddle. It's a challenge to the very fabric of thought. What if there's something fundamentally unthinkable, a concept that we can't even begin to form with our minds? What if there's a limit to our cognitive abilities, beyond which we cannot venture, no matter how hard we try? This concept doesn't just escape understanding, it actively resists it. Take, for example, the idea of nothingness. It seems simple at first, but if we try to imagine true nothingness, no time, no space, no matter, our minds become tangled. We can't hold the idea without resorting to some form of something, because the very nature of our thoughts demands that we relate everything to existence. Even if we try to picture emptiness, we're still creating an image in our minds, thus filling that emptiness with something. True nothingness, as a concept, becomes impossible to truly grasp. But what if there's something even more elusive than that? A concept so deeply entwined with paradox that even the language we use to describe it crumbles under scrutiny. Think of a square circle or a married bachelor. These are examples of logical impossibilities, terms that exist only in language but fail in reality. They challenge the core principles of how we understand relationships, definitions, and the very structure of knowledge itself. There are also more complex examples that stretch beyond language. For instance, the idea of an infinite number of things existing in a finite space. We think of infinity as boundless, yet when we try to fit it into our understanding of physical reality, it breaks apart. It's a contradiction that cannot be resolved. Or consider the concept of a beginningless beginning. How can something start if there is no starting point? It's a paradox that undoes the very essence of what we know about cause and effect. Some philosophers argue that the concept that cannot exist isn't a failure of our understanding, but a clue to the limitations of human cognition. Perhaps our minds are hardwired to comprehend only certain kinds of ideas, and anything beyond that becomes completely incomprehensible. Could it be that there are entire realms of existence that exist beyond the grasp of human thought? A hidden layer of reality that is so complex, so outside of our perception, that it's beyond the capacity of our brains to process. This raises the unsettling question. Is there an entire dimension of reality that's forever beyond our understanding? Are there concepts, forces, and beings in existence that we simply cannot perceive because they lie beyond the bounds of our intellectual and sensory abilities? Is the universe truly as vast and unknowable as it seems, or is there a deeper truth, one that we cannot access simply because it defies the very nature of our thinking? The idea of the concept that cannot exist forces us to confront our own limitations and the boundaries of knowledge. But it also opens the door to something much more profound. The possibility that there are aspects of reality that can never be understood, no matter how advanced our science, philosophy, or technology becomes. It suggests that there might always be mysteries that remain hidden, not because they are unreachable, but because they are fundamentally beyond our capacity to even imagine. In this moment of reflection, we must ask ourselves, can we accept the idea that some things may never be understood, and that's perfectly fine? Or does it leave us with an insatiable curiosity, one that pushes us to explore the edges of our comprehension, even if we know we'll never fully grasp the infinite mysteries that lie just beyond our reach? The phantom observer. Imagine you're standing in a room, looking at a scene in front of you. Your eyes are locked on the details. Your mind is processing everything you see. But there's an unsettling feeling and awareness that you are not alone, that someone or something is watching you, despite there being no one else present. The phantom observer is a concept that delves into this very idea, the notion that an invisible, intangible presence is constantly monitoring or influencing the world around you, even if you cannot perceive it. This concept is often explored in both psychological and philosophical contexts, raising profound questions about the nature of observation and existence. What happens when the act of observing goes beyond human perception? What if reality itself is shaped by the very awareness of it, even when no human mind is present to witness it? This raises a startling implication. Perhaps in some sense, we are never truly alone. The phantom observer plays with the idea that everything is being watched or scrutinized, but by something other than human eyes. This could range from metaphysical beings to the very laws of physics, or even the cosmos itself, always silently observing the unfolding of existence. It's a theory that is as unsettling as it is fascinating. What if the world is not just a collection of physical objects, but a stage where unseen forces are constantly watching, interpreting, and influencing every action, every thought, and every outcome? In the realm of quantum physics, this idea takes on a more tangible form. The act of observation itself is often said to collapse the wave function, turning potential into reality. This means that reality only truly exists in its tangible form when it is observed. But what happens when there is no observer? Does reality still exist? Does the universe continue to unfold in a predetermined way, or does it wait for an observer to bring it into being? The idea of the phantom observer suggests that this question might not be as straightforward as it seems. There is also a psychological angle to this concept. We are constantly influenced by the awareness that others are watching us, even when they are not physically present. This plays a significant role in shaping our behavior, actions, and decisions. The phantom observer taps into this idea. What if there's an invisible presence that is perpetually shaping how we think, act, and exist? What if the presence of the observer is embedded within our very consciousness, altering our perceptions, memories, and interpretations of the world? From a metaphysical perspective, some theories propose that the universe itself might be a conscious observer, one that is aware of every single action, thought, and event that takes place within it. This idea suggests that there is no moment in time that is free from observation, no event that goes unnoticed. It's as if the universe is a silent witness to everything, forever watching, interpreting, and learning from the events it encompasses. Then yet, despite the implications of being constantly watched by an unseen force, the phantom observer remains elusive. What does it mean to be observed by something that you cannot perceive? How does it affect your sense of free will or agency if everything you do is being observed, even if you cannot detect the observer's presence? These questions are central to understanding the power of the phantom observer. Could it be that we are more than just subjects within the universe, but active participants in a grand cosmic play, with our every action being noted by some invisible force? Or are we mere puppets, driven by unseen observers who shape the course of history, philosophy, and even our own personal destinies? In closing, this concept forces us to confront some difficult questions. Do we truly have free will, or are we just actors on a stage, being guided by an unseen hand? Are we always being observed by forces beyond our comprehension, shaping our thoughts and actions in ways we cannot even begin to understand? The phantom observer compels us to look beyond what is visible, challenging us to consider the hidden forces that may be at work in every aspect of our lives. What do you think? Do you believe there's a phantom observer constantly watching over you? Or is the world truly as it appears, a place where reality unfolds in a more random, chaotic manner? The forgotten law of reality. There exists a law so fundamental to our existence, a law that subtly shapes everything we experience, yet it remains almost entirely forgotten by modern civilization. This law isn't written in the pages of science textbooks, nor is it found within the realms of physics. It is far deeper, an ancient truth that transcends time and space, one that governs the very essence of what it means to exist in this reality. For millennia, it was understood by ancient cultures, woven into the fabric of their beliefs. But as modernity progressed, this law was overshadowed, buried beneath the weight of rational thought and the rise of empirical science. In ancient Greece, philosophers spoke of logos, a fundamental principle that governs all things, an unseen force connecting the cosmos. In Egypt, the concept of cosmic balance and order, known as Mat, suggested that the universe is maintained by a delicate harmony, which is deeply influenced by human consciousness. Meanwhile, in Eastern traditions, like Hinduism and Buddhism, the very essence of existence was seen as being shaped by thought and perception. But in our modern world, we've cast these concepts aside, labeling them as myths and superstitions. In doing so, we've forgotten a universal truth that connects everything. Or perhaps this forgotten law has simply been concealed in the depths of our minds, waiting to be rediscovered at the right moment. In the realm of quantum mechanics, scientists are witnessing strange and inexplicable phenomena. Particles existing in multiple states at once, observers influencing the very nature of the particles they observe. What if this is a clue that ancient civilizations weren't just fantasizing when they described the interconnectedness of all things? What if they were tapping into a deeper reality, one where our consciousness interacts with the fabric of the universe, shaping and directing it in subtle ways? Imagine a law that underpins everything in existence, not just the physical world, but the metaphysical, the conscious, and the unseen. Imagine that the boundaries between the material and immaterial realms are thinner than we've been led to believe. Imagine that this law, this ancient, forgotten principle, has been responsible for everything from the formation of galaxies to the thoughts running through your mind. This forgotten law may have been hidden in plain sight all along. Could it be that quantum entanglement, the mysterious behavior of particles that seem to be instantaneously connected across vast distances, is a clue that the universe works in ways we've yet to fully comprehend? Could this ancient law explain the strange, often paradoxical nature of time and space that defies all logic? Consider the feelings of disconnection many people experience in modern life. We often feel separated from the universe, as though there is something intangible and elusive that we cannot touch, no matter how much we try. What if this forgotten law of reality is the missing piece of the puzzle? What if the key to understanding our relationship with the universe lies in remembering the wisdom of the ancients, who recognized that everything is connected and that our consciousness plays a crucial role in shaping reality? Ancient cultures may have understood that we are not passive observers of the world, but active participants in it. What if rediscovering this law could help us tap into a deeper understanding of our place within the cosmos? It might even reveal how we can shape our reality, bringing us closer to the very heart of existence. Perhaps it's not just a relic of the past. Perhaps it's the key to unlocking a new way of seeing and experiencing the universe. What if this forgotten law holds the answers to our deepest questions about life, the universe, and our very purpose within it? Could this ancient principle be the key to understanding the true nature of existence? Could rediscovering this forgotten law change the way we perceive reality itself? And if you're intrigued by these mysteries, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep explorations into the unseen forces that shape our world. The whispering geometry. Imagine a world where every object, every structure, and every force in the universe is connected by an invisible yet precise geometry. A geometry that transcends the physical world we see and touches the very fabric of existence. This is the realm of whispering geometry, a subtle and mysterious language that governs the underlying design of everything, from the simplest particle to the most complex structure in the cosmos. Long before modern science, ancient civilizations seemed to understand the profound significance of geometry. The Egyptians, for instance, constructed the Great Pyramids with such precision that the angles and alignments of the stones seemed to defy the tools available them at the time. The Greeks, particularly Pythagoras and Plato, spoke of sacred geometry, suggesting that the universe is not only built upon mathematical principles, but is, in fact, a manifestation of a divine geometric order. To the ancients, geometry was the language of the gods, a secret code that unlocked the mysteries of creation itself. What if geometry is not just a human construct, a way for us to make sense of the world? What if it is, in fact, the blueprint of reality? What if geometry whispers to us through the way the universe unfolds, revealing its secrets in subtle ways that only those who truly listen can understand? In quantum physics, we begin to glimpse the true nature of this whispering geometry. The patterns we see in nature, the spirals of galaxies, the way a flower's petals grow, the structure of DNA, are not random. They follow mathematical formulas that resonate with ancient geometrical principles. These patterns seem to suggest that the universe, at its deepest level, operates on a level of symmetry and precision that is beyond our current understanding. One of the most intriguing examples of this geometry comes from the field of fractals. Fractals are infinitely complex shapes that can be split into parts, each of which is a reduced-size copy of the whole. This self-similarity, found throughout nature, hints at a deeper, underlying structure. It's as if the universe is repeating certain patterns on a smaller and smaller scale, whispering the same truths over and over, if only we can decode the message. The ancient Greeks were not the only ones to recognize this hidden geometry. The sacred sites of Stonehenge, the intricate designs of the Mayan temples, and the mysterious alignment of the pyramids all seem to reflect this geometry of the cosmos. These structures were not just built for aesthetic or ceremonial purposes. They were built to resonate with the very frequency of the universe, tapping into the ancient geometry that governs all things. As modern science advances, we're beginning to realize that the fabric of space-time itself might be geometrical in nature. The theory of relativity shows us that space and time are not separate entities, but are interwoven into a single, flexible fabric. Could this be a clue that the universe operates on a higher geometrical principle? Are the whispers of geometry guiding the universe towards some greater order? The most fascinating aspect of whispering geometry is how it interacts with consciousness. In the past, philosophers like Descartes and Kant believed that the mind shapes our experience of reality. But what if, in addition to our minds, there is a deeper geometrical influence at work? Could geometry itself be influencing the way we perceive the world, nudging our thoughts, actions, and experiences into specific patterns? As we explore this mysterious realm, we may come to realize that we are not just passive observers of the universe. We are part of an intricate, living geometry shaped by forces both seen and unseen. The question is, how much of this geometry can we truly comprehend? And more importantly, how does it whisper to us through the fabric of reality, urging us to awaken to a deeper understanding of the cosmos, the mind that dreamed the universe? Imagine for a moment that everything you perceive, the stars in the sky, the ground beneath your feet, the very thoughts in your mind, are all part of a grand dream. But not just any dream. A dream so profound that it births the entire cosmos, weaving together space, time, and reality itself. What if, behind the curtain of existence, there is a consciousness so vast and so powerful that it is the very source of everything you experience? This idea isn't as fantastical as it might sound. Across different cultures and epochs, the notion that the universe is the product of a mind, or a consciousness, has been explored. In ancient Hindu philosophy, the universe was often seen as the dream of the god Vishnu. He would rest in the cosmic ocean, and as he dreamed, the world came into being, only to be undone when he awoke. This cosmic dreaming is cyclical, eternal, and beyond the understanding of any single being within the dream itself. In modern philosophy, this concept takes on a slightly different form, but remains strikingly similar. The philosopher George Berkeley proposed that existence is dependent on perception. For Berkeley, everything in the world exists only because it is, perceived by a mind, an ultimate mind, or God, which allows the world to exist through thought. Similarly, in Western thought, there is the idea that the universe is a mental construct, an idea that reality itself is not something material, but something shaped by consciousness. But it's not just ancient religions or classical philosophers who have explored this idea. In the realm of modern science, there are theories that flirt with this concept. Quantum mechanics, for example, suggests that the observer plays a fundamental role in the way reality manifests. The famous double-slit experiment shows that particles behave differently depending on whether they are being observed. In essence, the universe doesn't decide what to be until someone or something looks at it. Could it be that the universe is the product of an awareness beyond our own, a cosmic mind that exists beyond space and time, dreaming our reality into existence? This concept also ties into the idea of the simulation hypothesis, which proposes that our entire reality might be a simulation created by an advanced intelligence. If this is true, then we are merely characters within someone else's dream actors on a stage in a performance designed by a mind far greater than our own. The strange coincidences, the quantum weirdness, the mind-bending mysteries of the universe might all be evidence of this underlying intelligence, carefully constructing a world that appears real but may, in fact, be a mere projection of a greater mind. Even the most profound questions in science, like the origin of the universe, can be viewed through the lens of this cosmic dreaming. Where did the Big Bang come from? What spark set everything into motion? Could the universe itself be the dream of a mind that imagined, in a single thought, the entire cosmos coming into being? But perhaps the most intriguing aspect of this concept is the idea that the dreamer is not separate from us. If we are indeed part of this dream, could it be that we too are dreaming within a larger consciousness? What if your consciousness, your thoughts, your actions are all threads in a greater fabric, a vast interconnected web that links you to the cosmic dreamer, the mind that dreamed the universe? In a way, the universe itself may be an exploration of the mind's potential, a grand, infinite, unfolding story that stretches across eons. And perhaps, just as we dream at night, the universe itself dreams us. Everything we know, everything we experience, is part of this greater cosmic play, written by a consciousness far beyond our grasp. As we delve deeper into this concept, we begin to ask, if we are dreaming within a cosmic mind, then what happens when we wake up? Or do we ever wake up? Is reality simply an endless dream, cycling through various forms, realities, and possibilities? And if it is a dream, can we, as conscious beings, influence the dream, shape it, or perhaps even change the course of existence? The door without a room. Imagine standing before a door, feeling its cold, solid surface beneath your hand. You turn the handle and step through, only to find nothing. There is no room behind it, no walls, no furniture, no space at all, just emptiness stretching in all directions. The door remains solid and real, but the room it was meant to lead to is absent. The promise of what lies beyond has dissolved into the void. This paradox of a door that leads to nothing forces us to confront one of the most mysterious aspects of existence, the concept of potential without fulfillment. What if the door symbolizes the very fabric of reality itself, offering us endless possibilities and pathways, yet leading us to nowhere. Could it be that reality itself is a door to something beyond our comprehension, but that the room we expect to find is only an illusion, or perhaps an eternal mystery forever out of reach? In philosophy, this idea has been explored in various ways. Work of existentialists like Jean-Paul Sartre, the notion of a door that leads to nothingness is often discussed in terms of human existence. Sartre believed that life at its core is an open possibility, a door without a predefined room. We as conscious beings are left standing before this door, constantly faced with choices and potentialities, but no guarantee that any path we take will lead to fulfillment or meaning. The room may be empty because life itself has no inherent meaning. It's up to us to create it. But this concept isn't limited to existentialism. It also resonates with the ancient idea of the void, a place or state beyond all forms and existence. In Taoism, for instance, the idea of the void is central to understanding the nature of the universe. The void is not nothingness, but rather the potential for everything to exist. The door without a room could represent this infinite possibility, an access point to a greater realm of potential that remains elusive, hiding just beyond the threshold. The door without a room can also be linked to modern physics and our understanding of the universe. In quantum mechanics, particles can exist in multiple states or locations at once, and reality seems to be a probabilistic construct rather than a fixed, determined structure. What if the universe itself is like that door leading us into an infinite, unfathomable set of possibilities, none of which can be fully realized or understood in a single moment? The door is there, but the room is an abstraction, a concept that cannot truly be reached. The mystery of the door without a room is also tied to the ideas of consciousness and perception. What if our experience of reality is itself a door one that leads us into an infinite array of subjective experiences, but none of them can truly capture the room behind the door? Perhaps reality is like that door. It opens to something that we can never truly know or understand, only explore in fragments. The room behind the door may be beyond the limits of our perception, and no matter how many doors we open, we are forever bound to the uncertainty of the infinite unknown dot. In a way, the door without a room may be the perfect metaphor for the pursuit of knowledge and meaning itself. We are all standing in front of that door, drawn to explore the unknown. But ultimately, the very act of exploring leads us deeper into a labyrinth of questions that may never have a clear answer. Perhaps the true nature of the room is not something to be found in the physical world, but rather in the journey itself, a journey that is endless, full of twists and turns, yet ultimately leading nowhere that we can fully grasp. As you contemplate the door without a room, think about your own search for meaning and truth. What doors have you opened in your life, only to find that the rooms behind them were not what you expected? The lie of the present moment. We are constantly told that the present moment is all we have. Live in the now, they say. It sounds simple enough. Focus on the present and let go of the past and future. But is it really that straightforward? The truth is, the present moment is not as simple as it seems. The very concept of now may be one of the greatest illusions we cling to, a comforting lie that masks the complexities of time. Imagine for a moment that you're living in the present. You're reading these words, you're breathing, you're aware of your surroundings. But here's the twist. The present you're experiencing is already in the past by the time you become aware of it. Your perception of the present moment is actually a delayed reaction to what just happened. Your mind processes sensory input and creates an illusion of immediacy, but that moment has already passed before you can grasp it. So, reality, you're never truly experiencing the now. You're always living in the aftershock of it. This is a concept that has been explored in both philosophy and science. In ancient philosophy, the idea of time was often treated as a cyclical or even illusory force. The Stoics, for example, emphasized that our perceptions of time are influenced by our attachment to the past and our worries about the future. For them, true peace came from understanding that the present is just a fleeting moment, and that it's our perspective that distorts the way we experience it. In modern physics, the nature of time is even more elusive. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, time is not a constant, universal flow, but is relative to the observer. The concept of the present moment becomes even more complex when you factor in how time behaves at different speeds and under different conditions. The closer you get to the speed of light, the more warped time becomes. What feels like the present to one observer might be experienced as the past or future to another, creating a mind-bending paradox. Then there's the aspect of time. Our brains are not designed to live in the present moment in a way that is truly instantaneous. Instead, our consciousness lingers behind, constantly processing, interpreting, and projecting experiences. Even when we try to focus on the now, we are still interpreting the remnants of the past and anticipating the future. We are trapped in a mental loop, unable to fully inhabit the present moment as it truly is. This leads us to the notion that the present moment is less about time and more about perception. It is not a singular fixed point, but a fluid, ever-changing process that we never fully capture. The attempt to remain in the present is, in fact, an illusion of control. We may believe we are mastering time by focusing on the now, but in reality, we are continually being pulled away from the truth of the moment, either by memories of the past or projections of the future. If the present moment is a lie, what does that mean for how we experience life? It forces us to confront the idea that time, in all its forms, is an abstract construct. Perhaps the now isn't a destination, but a constant state of flux that we can never fully hold on to. By chasing after it, we miss the bigger picture. Life isn't about seizing the present, but understanding that it is just one part of an endless, flowing stream of experiences. The idea of the present moment as a lie invites us to think differently about how we live. Instead of clinging to the fleeting moment, we might find peace in the understanding that the past and future are integral to who we are. The lie of the present moment is not a tragic one. It's a reminder that life is not about mastering time, but about accepting it as a mystery that can never be fully understood. The inverted mirror self. Imagine looking into a mirror and seeing not your reflection, but something entirely different, something that challenges your very understanding of who you are. This inverted mirror isn't just a trick of light or a distortion of the physical world. It's a deep psychological and existential concept that invites us to question the nature of self-awareness, identity, and reality itself. The idea of the inverted mirror self stems from the notion that we often perceive ourselves in ways that are disconnected from the true essence of who we are. We look into the mirror and see a physical body, a face that reflects the world's expectations, judgments, and societal roles we have internalized. But beneath the surface, something far deeper exists, our true self, untouched by external labels or the reflection of how others see us. In many ways, the mirror only shows us a shallow version of who we are, not the profound, often mysterious being lurking within. In philosophy, the concept of the self has been pondered for millennia. From Descartes' famous assertion, "I think, therefore I am," to the more modern theories of existentialists like Sartre, who argued that our identities are shaped by the choices we make and the freedom we have to define ourselves. The self has always been seen as something fluid, ever-changing, and beyond any simple reflection. The inverted mirror concept builds on this idea. It suggests that the way we view ourselves is distorted by both our external environment and our internal narratives. We are constantly confronted with reflections, both literal and metaphorical, that tell us who we are. Yet these reflections are incomplete and often inaccurate, leaving us with a fractured sense of self. What if the true essence of who we are lies on the other side of this mirror, inverted, twisted in ways we can't yet comprehend? One of the most intriguing aspects of this idea is that we are constantly shaping our identities, yet we are often unaware of how deeply these identities are influenced by external forces. From societal norms to media portrayals to the expectations of family and peers, our sense of self is formed in part by how others reflect us. In essence, we live in a world where mirrors, both literal and figurative, shape the way we see ourselves. And in this shaping, the true self can become hidden, obscured by layers of false perceptions. But the concept of the inverted mirror goes deeper. What if our sense of self is not just a passive reflection of the world around us, but an active, transformative force? What if, like a mirror, we are capable of reflecting not just the world as it is, but also the world as we imagine it to be? This inversion creates a paradox. We are shaped by our reflections, but we also shape those reflections. This cycle of influence creates a distorted, constantly shifting identity, one that is difficult to pin down, like trying to catch your own shadow. The inverted mirror self also touches on psychological theories about identity fragmentation and self-deception. It suggests that part of our identity may be hidden even from ourselves, obscured by the filters through which we view our lives. These filters are shaped by past experiences, trauma, fears, and desire, things that we may not be fully conscious of. Just like the reflection in a mirror can sometimes distort or obscure certain features, our mental and emotional states can distort our perception of who we truly are. This brings us to a deeper philosophical question. If the mirror only shows us an inversion of reality, how can we truly know who we are? Are we simply reflections of a world that we can never fully control? Or are we capable of transcending the mirror and discovering our authentic selves? The journey to self-discovery, it seems, is not just about looking into the mirror, but about looking beyond it, into the depths of our subconscious, fears, our hopes, and the parts of ourselves that we have yet to understand. The inverted mirror is not just a concept, it's a challenge to break free from the limits of perception. It invites us to question the very nature of our identity, urging us to reflect deeply and to seek the parts of ourselves that lie hidden beyond the surface. By confronting the inverted mirror, we can come to terms with the fact that who we think we are may be just a fraction of the truth. So, as you reflect on this concept, ask yourself, how much of what you perceive in the mirror is truly you? How much is shaped by the world around you? And how much of it lies waiting to be discovered? The echo that became real. Imagine a sound, a faint whisper or distant echo, carrying across the vast silent space of existence. At first, it seems like nothing more than a fleeting noise, an impermanent vibration, the air easily dismissed. But what if this echo, this reverberation of something past, somehow became more than just a sound? What if it became real? The idea of the echo that became real suggests that things we once thought were intangible, fleeting, or inconsequential can, over time, take on substance, shape, and form. It's as if echoes from the past, the whispers of forgotten events, unspoken thoughts, or ancient ideas, could manifest in the physical world, shaping the course of our lives and the very nature of our reality. This concept challenges the way we perceive time, memory, and cause and effect. In many cultures, echoes have been seen as metaphors for memories or spiritual reverberations. They are reminders of what has been and what continues to echo through the corridors of time. But what if these echoes don't just remain as distant sounds? What if, Through some cosmic or psychological mechanism, they can take on a tangible reality, affecting the present in ways we cannot fully comprehend. Philosophically, this concept intersects with ideas of fate and free will. If an echo from the past, perhaps a forgotten event or a choice we made long ago, begins to shape our present reality, does that mean we are trapped in a cycle of events, controlled by forces beyond our understanding? Or is it a sign that the past is never truly gone, that its influences continue to ripple through time, creating new realities with each passing moment? This echo could take many forms. It might be the re-emergence of an ancient idea that resurfaces in modern thought, like the way certain philosophical concepts or scientific theories have returned after being dormant for centuries. It could be rediscovery of a lost civilization, or even the reawakening of myths and legends long thought to be mere stories. In these instances, the echo of something forgotten, or something once dismissed as unimportant, becomes real again, influencing the way we see the world and ourselves. But what makes this echo real? Is it the physical manifestation of something once thought ethereal? Or is it the impact it has on our consciousness, making us question the nature of existence itself? Perhaps it's a reminder that the boundaries between the past, present, and future are more fluid than we realize. The echo that became real is not just a sound, it is a bridge between dimensions of time and understanding. The idea of echoes taking form is also related to the concept of collective consciousness. In this framework, the ideas, fears, and hopes of entire societies or civilizations can leave behind imprints, echoes, that reverberate through history. These echoes may not always be audible, but they influence the decisions, actions, and behaviors of people living long after the original source has faded. In this way, the past never truly disappears. Its echoes shape the present and, in turn, influence the future. In a psychological sense, the echo that became real may represent the unresolved issues or memories that continue to haunt us. It's like a ghost from the past, lingering just outside our conscious awareness, influencing our thoughts, actions, and relationships. These echoes are the things we cannot shake, experiences or ideas that return to us in dreams, memories, or moments of reflection. They take on a life of their own, often controlling us more than we would like to admit. So, as you consider this concept, think about the echoes in your own life. What past experiences or forgotten ideas continue to shape your present reality? Are there moments, no matter how small, that seem to echo back to you, forcing you to confront the past and its lingering effects? Reflect on the nature of time and memory and ask yourself, what if the echoes we hear are not just remnants of the past, but active forces shaping our future, the end that loops forever? What if the end isn't an endpoint at all? What if, instead of a final conclusion, it is a constant cycle, forever repeating, with no true escape or resolution? This concept, the end that loops forever, proposes a mind-bending paradox, an eternal return, where the finality of an ending is merely an illusion, and the true nature of existence is an infinite loop of beginnings and conclusions, stretching across time, space, and reality. In this scenario, the end we anticipate, whether it's the end of a life, a civilization, or even the universe itself, is not something that arrives and ceases, but something that reoccurs endlessly. Imagine living a life where every end you experience, whether it's the end of a day, the end of a chapter, or even the end of an era, was merely a precursor to the exact same event repeating over and over again, endlessly, throughout eternity. This eternal cycle would defy our understanding of time, challenging the very nature of progress and change. The idea of an endless loop isn't just a metaphor, it's a concept deeply embedded in both philosophy and physics. It echoes the ancient idea of eternal recurrence, proposed by philosophers like Nietzsche, who suggested that all experiences, moments, and lives might repeat infinitely. This might be seen as a cosmic loop where time is not linear but cyclical, looping back on itself in an endless repetition, making each event not truly an end, but part of an unbroken cycle. For some, the notion of an endless loop is disorienting and unsettling. It implies a universe that is static, where the same patterns and events unfold over and over, devoid of true progression. If every end only leads to another beginning of the same kind, what does it mean for our sense of individuality or achievement? How can we ever truly escape or transcend when the cycle repeats ad infinitum? On the other hand, the concept of an eternal loop can be a comforting one. If every end leads back to the start, there's a kind of reassurance in knowing that nothing is ever truly lost. This notion challenges the finality of death or destruction and suggests that life, whether in the form of the universe, human existence, or the soul, may not be bound by time's limitations. It proposes a perspective where we are always given another chance, a fresh beginning, even after what we consider an ending. In this infinite loop, nothing truly ends. It simply resets. And in that reset, perhaps there is an opportunity for growth, for change, for something new to emerge. The loop becomes a symbol of transformation rather than stagnation, offering a chance for continual evolution, where every ending brings with it the potential for a new beginning. In physics, this idea connects with theories about the universe's ultimate fate. Will the universe end in a big freeze, where all energy dissipates into an endless cold void? Or will it experience a big crunch, collapsing back in on itself, only to restart the cycle once more? These cosmological theories mirror the very concept of the end that loops forever, a universe that ends, only to begin again, as if it's caught in an endless cyclical pattern of birth and death, destruction and renewal. On a personal level, we might recognize this loop in our own lives. Think of the patterns you repeat, the habits you can't shake, or the unresolved cycles that seem to play out over and over. Relationships that fall apart, only to form again, conflicts that resurface, or the same personal struggles that seem to follow you no matter what you do. It's as if these moments are not endings, but loops, cycles that bring us back to the same point, again and again, until we recognize the pattern and can break free. Ultimately, the end that loops forever is a profound reminder that endings may not be as final as they appear. In a universe defined by cycles, nothing truly ever ends. It only transforms and repeats. And within that repetition lies an opportunity for understanding, growth, and transcendence. As we break free from the illusion of finality and embrace the infinite possibilities of the eternal return.